Hey guys, what's up? It's Savannah. Welcome back to another episode of My Thoughts Exactly. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I am so happy that you are here. Hello, you guys. Happy Thursday. This is actually, I realized this before hitting record, is the last episode before Christmas, which is so crazy. I feel like just 2 weeks ago, it was like September and we were like, oh my God, Christmas. Like, I'm so excited. And now we're here and it's just a wild, wild thing and time flies. And I can't believe it. I was like, oh yeah, we have like 2 more weeks. And I thought about it. I was like, wait, no, we don't. It's like 5 more days. That's crazy. I hope you guys are having a good week, regardless of what's going on. I hope you all are doing good. You're safe, you're happy, you're healthy, whether or not you are by yourself, if you're in your hometowns, if you're with your family. I hope that you are doing well. Today we have a fun episode. I know we were very much like holiday based last week with the holiday this or that, which was a super fun episode to film. But this week, we are back doing a reaction to your guys' unpopular opinions. This is a segment that we brought in about a month and a half ago, and I had so much fun filming it, and I definitely wanted to make it a more of a recurring segment here on My Thoughts Exactly. And this is not going to be a holiday this or that. This is very much just a general this or that. I asked you guys on both Instagrams, the My Thoughts Exactly, as well as my personal, which if you do not follow, make sure you go do, so that way you can be a part of the future segments that we do. But yeah, I asked you guys on both of those Instagrams for your unpopular opinions, and we are going to just go through and react to them. So I'm very excited. We are going to start with the ones from my personal Instagram, and then we will work our way through it from there. So let's jump right on into it. You guys definitely had a lot to say. Okay, first one, matcha is gross. I agree with this. I don't want to agree with this, but in my heart and my soul, I do. I have never been a matcha person. I have never been someone who was gravitated towards matcha. It tastes like grass to me. And I also don't understand. I know it's like better caffeine for you than coffee, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I still don't like it. I will not like it. I would rather just drink the coffee instead of the matcha. I'm not someone who gets like super jittery or wired from coffee. It actually like it's weird. It's like only specific coffees will like actually make me feel caffeinated. Typically, I only drink the coffee for like just the comfort of drinking coffee, if that makes sense. It's not necessarily for the caffeine. I don't know. Every once in a while, I'll get hit with a coffee and I'm like, that's a good coffee because that woke me up. But typically not. I don't know why, but I definitely will not be replacing it with matcha. I'm just not a matcha person to my core. It's just not me. I wish I was though. I think it's so cute when like the girlies go and like get little matchas and they're so cute. It's just not me. So I agree with that. Okay, next one. High energy / working dog breeds shouldn't be available to everyone because it causes self-destruction and behavioral issues. I agree with this to an extent. I think that if you are going to own a dog, first of all, I think it's really important to understand the responsibility that you are about to take on because it is such a big responsibility when you go from not having a dog to having a dog, obviously. And I feel like you need to really take into account when contemplating what breed you want to get. I think it's really important to look at your lifestyle and try and find a dog that matches your lifestyle. So for example, I have Church. Church is a Bernese Mountain Dog. He is a very large dog. He's about 115-ish pounds. I knew that with my lifestyle, I wouldn't match up well with a dog that is super high energy, with a dog that needs to be like running all the time, because first of all, I can't provide that to a dog at this very moment. Like I don't have, the time to be like going and just like, I don't have the capability of doing that right now is what I'm saying. And not that I wouldn't want to or wouldn't in the future, but I think you guys get what I'm saying. It's just not in the cards for me at the moment. I'm very lucky because Church, even though he is a big dog, which was like my biggest non-negotiable, I've always wanted big dogs. I've always loved big dogs. So having the big dog was the important factor for me here. And so the fact that he is a big dog, but his personality is very chill. It's very lax. Like he gets 2 walks a day. He gets a car ride a day. So he's still, getting stimulated in that way. He has a backyard. He can go run around back there. So he does get what he needs to get. But I will say, I think it is important to look at your lifestyle and find a dog that is going to match that. If you want a high energy dog and you have like a bunch of land that this dog can go run around, then like go for it. Like that's great. But if you're going to get like a super high energy dog and trap it in like a studio apartment and then get upset when you feel like the dog like needs a lot more attention than you were expecting it to, it's kind of like, yeah, I get what you're saying. I do agree with that. I think to an extent, you kind of have to do the research before you take on a responsibility like that, because once you do it, you do it. And like, that's your dog. So you have to figure it out. So yeah, I think it's important to, look at your lifestyle and match the dog to your lifestyle, because they deserve to have a great life. And if you are going to be better suited for a dog that's not as high energy, not as like, that doesn't need as much stimulation, then that's the dog you should get. Doesn't mean you can't get a dog. It just means get a different kind of dog. So I do agree with that to an extent. Okay, moving on. InNOut is overhyped. I feel like I have talked about this before at some point. I know I talk about this a lot, like with people in my life, because I'm from San Diego, if you didn't know, and obviously we have InNOut, and I have never been a fan of InNOut ever in my life. I've never understood the hype. I don't know if it's because it's such like a only in like the West Coast thing. I know they're opening more locations now. They're actually opening one in Tennessee, which is crazy. But I don't know if it's because it's like a sacred like thing that it's like harder to get to, where it makes it more desirable for people, and they're like, oh my God, it's InNOut. I don't get it. I will never understand the hype. Granted, I do think that because I'm such a picky eater, like I literally will just get like a plain cheeseburger with like meat and cheese and that's it. And then I get like ketchup and stuff. But like, you get what I'm saying. I think because of that, I probably am not getting the best things at InNOut. So therefore I'm not having the best experience. However, for my experience, because that's all I can speak on, I don't love it. I don't think it's great. I much rather prefer like Shake Shack, Wendy's, like literally anything. I'm so sorry. I don't like InNOut. And that's just my opinion. Okay, moving on. Watermelon is disgusting. Okay, so I'm a very picky eater, like I just said, and I don't love watermelon. So I agree with this, actually. I'm not into it. To me, it tastes like, I don't know what it's called. Like it tastes watered down, which makes sense because it's watermelon, but it tastes watered down to me. I'm a big texture person and I just don't love the texture of that. I know Hayden loves it. Like that's his thing. Like he thinks it's so amazing. Like in the summer, he loves it. To me, it's just not for me. I don't know why, but it's just not. I wish it was, but it's not. Okay. I don't like Taylor Swift as a person. Believe it or not, there was a lot of Taylor Swift unpopular opinions in this. Okay, you don't like Taylor Swift as a person. Why? I guess would be my question. I have no reason not to like Taylor Swift as a person because I don't know her as a person. Like I don't know her personally, so I can't say that I don't like her as a person. I just can say that like I like her music and that's it. Just as I can say that I don't like other people's music because that's all I can base it off of. But I can't really say that I don't like them as a person if I don't really know them. But not liking Taylor Swift as a person, yeah, I guess my question would just be like, why? How come? I would have to disagree just because I don't know her as a person. Maybe I wouldn't like her if I know her as a person. I don't know, but I do like her music. Okay, next one. Cheese made from cow's milk is gross. I can understand why you would think that when you look at like the process and how it all, happens and whatever. But to me, I have never found a cheese that's like vegan or whatnot, like not cow's milk cheese, that is good or that is like comparable to regular cheese. I'm a cheese girl through and through. Like I love cheese so much. And I know that's like everyone does, but like mozzarella, burrata, the only cheese I don't like is blue cheese. Other than that, give me all the cheese. Parmesan, feta, goat. I love cheeses. Goat cheese doesn't come from a cow though. It comes from a goat, obviously. But I don't know. I just love cheese. So to me, it's not that gross, but I can understand why you would think that. Okay. Girls and guys can just be friends / girls can have guy friends without it being a red flag. I understand the dilemma behind this conversation. I know that a lot of people, when they're in relationships, it's weird. It's a weird dynamic to have, like, if the girl has guy friends or if the guy has girlfriends or whatnot. I definitely think there's boundaries that need to be put into place. But other than that, I don't think that there's anything wrong with having guy friends or, if my boyfriend had girlfriends. Like, I don't think that's wrong. And I do think that part of the reason for that is because growing up, I just always had a lot of guy friends. And so to me, like, they literally literally are like just my friends. And so I don't know it as any different. And so if someone, I have had guys like come into my life that have been like, that's weird and I don't like that. I will choose my friends every time, like period, because my friends were here before you and they're going to be here after you and, you know, whatever. So I will always maintain my friends because my friends are my friends and I don't care if it's a guy, I don't care if it's a girl. Like it doesn't matter to me. Same with, you know, my boyfriend having girlfriends. Like if that's their friend, then like who the fuck am I to be to like come in and be like, nope, sorry. Like I don't agree with that mindset just because I feel like, and maybe this is a little harsh, but I do feel like it stems from a lot of insecurity and trust issues, which I can understand because hello, I'm the queen of trust issues, but I just feel like it's not my place to come in and be like, I'm not okay with that, or like, I don't want you to be friends with her anymore because that's their friend. I don't know. And because I would never want someone to come in and tell me that I can't be friends with someone that I'm friends with. So I would never come in and tell someone that too. However, if something was like, if there was a boundary that was crossed or something made me uncomfortable, I would definitely voice that and be like, this made me uncomfortable and I don't want it to happen again. Or like, this made me uncomfortable. What can we do to fix this? Because like, this isn't okay. Like, I definitely think that there's boundaries and I think that there's lines that definitely need to be drawn. And if those are crossed, then I think it's like a little bit of a deeper conversation. But if you're just friends with someone, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I understand the whole like, oh my God, like what if they hook up with their friend? Okay, then we move on. That's what we do. Okay, moving on. Why is it normalized drinking milk from another species, but we find it weird to drink from our own? Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on, let me reread that. Why is it that we normalize drinking milk from another species but find it weird to drink from our own? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why it's weird, but to me in my head it's weird. So I don't know if it's like a societal thing. I don't know what it is, but to me it is just a little strange. So I would just not, as a grown adult, drink milk from like a person, if that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like we're getting into weird territory here. But yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. Okay, spoons are the superior eating utensil. I disagree. Forks all the way. Forks all the way. I don't care if I'm eating. I know some people eat like mac and cheese with the spoon or like pasta with the spoon or I don't know, anything. I think forks all the freaking way. Maybe it's just because of what I eat. Like I eat a lot of like, you know, if I'm doing mashed potatoes, I can eat that with a fork. Pasta, fork. Mac and cheese, fork. Like any chicken or steak or whatever, fork. Ice cream, I can eat that with a fork. Like if spoons went away, I can eat ice cream with a fork. The only thing I couldn't eat with a fork is cereal. I could, it would just be a lot more of a difficult process. So I don't know. But I hold firm at forks. I've always been a fork over spoon girl. And I get that you can still eat everything that you can with a fork with a spoon for the most part. Well, actually, not really. Like imagine trying to cut a steak with like a spoon. That would be very difficult. Oh, I also couldn't eat soup with a fork. I don't know. But I'm going with fork. I'm sticking at fork. Okay. Chick-fil-A is overrated. I used to be on that bandwagon. Now I very much am not. I love Chick-fil-A. And I've finally gotten to the point, like I used to not be like this, but I finally got to the point where like I now get like annoyed on Sundays when, you know how people who eat Chick-fil-A, they're always like, it sounds the best on Sundays because that's the day you can't get it because they're closed on Sundays. And I've now gotten to that point. Like on Sunday, I was like, oh my God, Chick-fil-A sounds so good. And then I got so mad because I'm like, oh, I can't have it. It's closed. I really love Chick-fil-A. My Chick-fil-A order is an 8 count of their grilled nuggets and a medium fry. That's what I get. And I get the zesty buffalo sauce and the ranch sauce. And I get like 2 of each. And it's so freaking good. And I'll take like the chicken nugget or I'll take the french fry and I'll dip it in the ranch and then the buffalo. And then I'll eat it. Oh my God. My mouth is watering right now. It tastes so good. That's really the only fast food I eat though. So Chick-fil-A is really it. And I don't think that the grilled nuggets are that bad for you because it's just like protein. So I understand maybe thinking it is overrated. I love Cane's. Like if I couldn't go to Chick-fil-A and I had to choose one other fast food, it would be Cane's. I think Cane's is so good. They just opened one about 20 minutes away from me and I need to go. I still haven't gone. It's been open for like 5 months, but I definitely want to go. But I mean, Chick-fil-A, I get why. Maybe it's just because like it's so overhyped. Like I feel like a lot of other fast food restaurants, it's like, yeah, it's good, but like the hype over Chick-fil-A is just insane. So I do agree with you on that because it's like, yeah, Chick-fil-A is really good, but like it's not like worth all of the hype that it gets. I think it's just because, first of all, the customer service is amazing. They have a lot of options, and for all things considered, like it's not the worst for you. Like it's not the worst fast food you could have. So I think maybe that's why. Okay, next up, everyone is too sensitive these days. I do agree with that. This is something that I really agree with. I feel like I see a lot of just stuff that I see online and social media and people arguing with people that they don't know in a comment section, or just like going down this rabbit hole of getting sensitive over every little thing. Like, granted, have your boundaries, have your feelings, and like I totally respect that. But I do think that we've gotten to a kind of period of time where everyone is walking on eggshells around each other because we're all afraid to like make someone mad or to insult someone by accident. Because again, it's by accident. And that's where I think the line is. I think it's like, if you, I don't know. It's hard. I have a lot of thoughts about this and I feel like I could go on forever about this, but I do feel like if everyone wasn't as sensitive, I don't mean like everyone, like obviously it's different, like, cause people are different, but the people that I do feel like are overly sensitive, I just feel like they're wasting a lot of time being so sensitive. I really do. I feel like if you are looking to get insulted by something, you will always find something that can hurt your feelings. You are always going to find something that you can, nitpick or be upset about. And you're wasting so much time doing that when you could just be like out enjoying life and living. And like, I feel like if no one's being personally like vindictive and evil to you, then like it's not worth your time. That's just my personal opinion. Like if someone is like going out of their way to like actually be mean to you and insult you and like make your life hell, that's different. Like if someone is actually like targeting you and like, yeah, being vindictive and vengeful towards you, I feel like that's a different situation. But I feel like a lot of times we almost make that up in our head, not in every situation, of course, but like over the little things. It's like people get so worked up over the little things nowadays. And I just feel like it's exhausting. Like that kind of mindset is exhausting. And I feel like you're taking so much energy, like, convincing yourself that someone had it out for you when they didn't. And it's like, if you don't know them personally, then just like don't take it so personal, I guess. I don't know. I know that that's like a lot of rambled thoughts because I just have a lot of thoughts about this, but I need to like put them into concise sentences. But I do feel like not everyone, but I do feel like a lot of people nowadays are very sensitive and are very quick to feel upset over something. And it's like, you're going to get your feelings hurt in life. You are. And that's just a part of it. And not everyone is out to get you. Not everyone has a personal vendetta against you. And like, I also think it's like a weird, almost like I think it's, I don't want to say selfish, but it is a very interesting mindset to have where you think that everyone is personally out to get you, or like personally out to like attack you, or out to like say something about you, when it's just like everyone's out living their lives and doing their thing. And I think to have that mindset of like, oh, like everyone, nitpicking what everyone says because everyone's out to get you, I just think it's a little ridiculous. So that was my long rant on that, but hopefully you understand a little bit of where I'm coming from with that. Okay. Next one. I don't believe in second chances unless they've proved they've changed their ways. I love the pod. Thank you so much. I agree with this. I think that second chances only come, in my opinion, second chances only should come based off of changed actions. You don't get a second chance if you're just doing the same bullshit over and over again. Like, why would we do that? So I definitely think that it needs to be a change in actions. I think sorry is an empty word. I think that so many people say sorry nowadays because they're like, oh, it'll make it better. Like, sorry means nothing to me. I feel like if I can see that you have changed your ways and you are, working to improve and change what you're doing, then I will pay more attention to that. And that is something that I will take into account. I don't give a shit if you say sorry. Like, that just doesn't mean anything to me at this point. I feel like I've been told that so many times, and that's not like a woe is me thing. It's just like you hear sorry so many times and like people continue to do the same bullshit. And it's like, okay, well then why are you even wasting your breath? Like, why are we saying sorry? So I agree. I think second chances come based off actions, not words. And I think it's really important for someone to prove that. And I do think that, you're allowed to not want to give someone a second chance as well. Like, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, just give them a second chance. It's whatever. Like, you're allowed to not give second chances. Like, a second chance isn't always a guarantee. And I always kind of go in the mindset of when I do give someone a second chance, it's like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And it's like, I'm not going to allow myself to get upset the same way I was the second time around if you do it again, rather than the first. Like, the first time I'll be like pissed and upset and like whatnot, and then we can try and work through it if I see that there's changed actions. The second time, you will never speak or hear from me again. Like, that's just how that works. So I do think that second chances should be based off of more actions than words. And I do think that, you know, not everyone is entitled to a second chance. So those are my thoughts. Tuesdays are worse than Mondays. I completely agree. I don't like Tuesdays. Granted, today is Tuesday, and Tuesdays just always feel like so, like, I don't know what to call it, just like blah to me. It's not a good way to describe it, but it's like Monday I actually really like. I love Mondays. I go to the gym every Monday morning. I have my trainer. I come home. I do a lot of killer instinct work. Like, I feel very productive on Mondays. I do a lot of laundry on Mondays. Like, Mondays are great for me. I don't know if it's a Capricorn in me or what, but like, I freaking love Mondays. Tuesdays, I've like lost the momentum. I'm like, okay, let's just get through Tuesday, because I feel like Tuesday is just, and I feel bad because it's like Tuesday never, you know, it's just Tuesday. But like, Wednesday's great because you're like, okay, halfway through the week. Thursday should practically be Friday. Friday is Friday. I actually really like Sundays as well. Like, I love a good Sunday. I love a good Sunday reset. I love a good Sunday, like, get my life together, like setting myself up for success for Monday. I love Sundays. I love Saturdays too. So yeah, Tuesday is definitely my least favorite day of the week. Okay, moving on. Random, but sloths are creepy. They literally freak me out. It's their faces. I agree with this. Not that I personally have a problem with sloths, although I don't love them. Like, if one was sitting in front of me, I'd probably cry. But I know Hayden hates sloths. He thinks that they're so creepy, and I shouldn't say hate, but he strongly dislikes sloths. He thinks that they're really creepy and just freakish looking, and they move so slow, and he says that they look slimy, and he's just not a fan. So I definitely can understand where the whole like turn off about sloths come from, because I do think that they're weird. Like, they're just a little strange. It's just a little strange. They move so slowly. And I heard a really bizarre fact about sloths. Oh, I wish I would remember it. This is like 6 months ago. I heard this really like unsettling fact about sloths. Let's look up, how fast can a sloth run? Maybe that was the fact. I don't know if it was, but let's see. How fast can a sloth run? Okay, very slow. Very slow. They go 0.17 miles per hour when they're threatened. Did you know a raccoon can run up to 15 miles per hour? That's fucking terrifying. A cat can run up to 30. A penguin can run up to 5.6 miles per hour. I feel like that's still pretty fast. Like, when I run on the treadmill, I'm running at like a 6.3. So that's like that's fast for a penguin. Yeah, gorillas run up to 25 miles per hour. And just to put it in perspective, a cheetah can run up to 80. So, I don't know. Can sloths run up to 20 miles? Yeah, no. Let me look up a creepy fact about sloths. Maybe this was it. They can turn their head into 306, like, they can turn their head all the way around 360 degrees. Maybe that was the fact, because that is weird, because sloths have 9 vertebrae in their necks and most mammals have 7. That's really, really weird. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Not a fan. You didn't need to know that. You already don't like them anyways, but I just thought I would tell you. Okay. So now that we've learned about the speed at which most animals can run, let's move on. Pineapple on pizza is underrated. Okay. This is funny because I actually brought this up in the last unpopular opinions that we did, because I actually like pineapple on pizza, but I have to be in a very specific mood for it. Like, I'm not going to have pineapple on pizza and then dip it in ranch. Like, if anything, I'm going to have pineapple on pizza with pepperoni and like drizzle balsamic over it. That, like a glaze. That's really, really good. But mostly I don't do pineapple on pizza, and I'll just do straight pepperoni and just dunk it in ranch. So freaking good. Okay, next up. Taylor Swift is not a talented singer. Okay, see, more Taylor Swift. Here is my thought on Taylor Swift. First of all, I can't wait to watch the Eras movie that just came out on Prime Video. I've been like waiting for the right night to watch it. But my thoughts on Taylor Swift are that I do think that she's a good singer. I really do. I think that she's a very talented songwriter, which I know is not a singer, but I think she's a brilliant songwriter. And I do think that she's a great singer. I think she has I mean, if you look at like the progression of what her voice has done in terms of like where she started versus where she is now, I think that the progression that she has made when it comes to her voice is really outstanding. I think that she is a great singer. I've seen her live. I know she can sing. And I also think she's an amazing performer. Now, the difference between like, okay, so Taylor Swift put on like this 3-hour show when I saw her. She's not going to sit there in the middle of the stage with like no background anything and just sit there on a stool and sing. She like for 3 hours is not going to be as engaging or enticing or fun or whatever. That's just my personal opinion. Now, if you put Beyonce on a stage and put her on a stool and have her sing for 3 hours, I think that is something that would be captivating and like something that is just very awing. And I don't know, is that a word, awing? Like something that's in awe, when you're in awe of someone, like that is what I see for that. So like, is she Beyonce? No. But like I saw this tweet actually that it said Beyonce is a sculptor and Taylor Swift is an artist. Like it's an analogy. Okay. So like Beyonce is a sculptor, Taylor Swift is an artist, like a painter. Both can be the best at their craft, but they have two very different crafts. And like, I feel like it's very easy to pin people against each other, especially women in the industry, to, you know, try and tear someone down, which I know is not what you're doing, but I'm just using this as an example. But I think it's interesting because people can be so talented in what they do in their niche. But I think we oftentimes compare it to like, oh, well, like she's no Celine Dion. It's like, yeah, no shit. No one else is Celine Dion other than Celine Dion. No one else is Beyonce other than Beyonce. So I do think that Taylor Swift is a talented singer. I do think she's a talented performer. I think she's an amazing performer more than she is an amazing singer. But I think like someone like Beyonce or Celine Dion or Whitney Houston or whatever, that's when you get into like just amazing vocalist. But I do think Taylor Swift is a good singer. Is she the best singer? No, but I do think she's a good singer. Okay, moving on. Let's go into the ones from the My Thoughts Exactly page. Okay, here we go. The Polar Express looks like it's trying to be a cartoon and real life at the same time, and it's creepy to look at. I've never seen the Polar Express. Have never had a desire to watch the Polar Express. It's just not something that I'm like, oh, this looks fun. Like, I don't know. I've never like, I understand what you're saying though, because I feel like there are a lot of animated like shows out there and movies and stuff where they do that mix of like, it's not fully cartoon, but it's not real life. It's like more lifelike animation. And I actually prefer that over like regular, just like flat cartoon and animation. I don't know if that's the correct term, but like something like SpongeBob versus something like Polar Express, if that makes sense. I prefer the Polar Express type of animation just because it does seem a little bit more lifelike. But as far as Polar Express itself, I've never had a desire to watch it. I did watch a little bit of like the Grinch animation, not the old one, but the more newer version that had that same type of animation that looked a little bit more lifelike. And I will say it was very, very good. Okay, next one. Chocolate is gross in pretty much any form. I'm going to have to so strongly disagree with you on that. So strongly disagree. I am a chocolate lover through and through. Growing up, my family called me a chocoholic because I just always ate chocolate and they thought it was like a problem. But I love anything chocolate, like chocolate ice cream, chocolate cake, chocolate chip cookies, dark chocolate. The only chocolate I don't like is chocolate with any type of like fruit in it, or like that orange infused chocolate. I don't like that at all. But anything other than that, I freaking love. I would say my favorite candy is probably the M&Ms that have the peanut butter in them. Not the peanuts, the peanut butter. They come in the red bag. Very different. That's my favorite. But I love chocolate. Love chocolate. Mint chocolate chip ice cream is so nasty. I love mint chocolate chip ice cream, but here's my caveat. It has to be the green kind. It cannot be the white kind. I don't know why, but the white chocolate chip just never tastes as good to me as the green chocolate chip. So I am a green chocolate chip girly through and through all the way, but I don't like the white kind. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if there's like a different taste or if it's just a look and I'm psyching myself out. I don't like green chocolate chip, or I'm sorry, white chocolate chip. Love green chocolate chip. My favorite chocolate chip ever is actually chocolate mint chip. So it's like the chocolate ice cream with the chocolate chips and it has mint. That's like my favorite. But I like mint chocolate chip. It just has to be green. Someone let me know if that's like a thing, if it like tastes different. I don't know. I feel like it does. Okay. My 3-year-old doesn't have to hug you if she doesn't want to. No means no, right? Her body is hers. I agree with this. I don't think that there is any reason that we should be enforcing people to like hug people, like, or just like touch people in general. Like, why are we forcing someone to touch someone else if they don't want to? Like, I think that that's weird. I think that if your daughter wants to hug them, then like, yeah, go for it. Or if like your 3-year-old wants to hug someone, great. But like, should we be like enforcing it to the point where like now it's uncomfortable? Like, that's horrible. Like to be like, oh, you have to do this. Like, no, that's always makes it's so awkward. It's uncomfortable. And I just don't agree with the, teachings behind that. And so I agree. I don't think that anyone should have to touch anyone that they are not comfortable with, if that makes sense. So I agree with you on that. Okay, next one. Small accent lights are better than big overhead lights. I completely agree. As I've grown up and gotten older, I definitely can appreciate a lamp, a little light above our bed. If you watch the vlogs, you'll know that I actually got this. I don't know what you would call it. It's like it's from this place called Mod Lighting, and it's this light fixture that you put, and it like the light glows from behind it. If you go back and watch the vlogs, you'll see it. It is so amazing, and it really elevated our room. I am not an overhead light person. I like lamps. I like dim lighting. It just sets up the room better, in my personal opinion. I feel like it looks better. The vibes are better. It's not as harsh. I feel like when you have the harsh overheads, it's just very, very like stark, if that makes sense. I don't like it, and I just think it's in your face. It gives me a headache. I don't like it. So I love the smaller accent lights. A good chandelier. I love a good chandelier. Lamps everywhere. Candles, like when you have the glow from the candle. All right, moving on to the next one. Fruit tastes better than desserts / synthetic sugars. / synthetic sugars, I feel like should be a tongue twister. But okay, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I'm not like a fruit girly. Like, I would rather have vegetables than I would fruit, which I feel like a lot of people would not. I know so many people, like friends and stuff, who like love strawberries, blueberries, pineapples. Like, I just don't. I like it in juice form. Like, I'll have it in juices, but as far as like snacking on it, no. The only thing I will is like blackberries. That's my favorite one, just because of like the acidity. It's like has that acidic taste. It's tart. I just really like that. Other than that, not for me. So I would have to disagree with that. However, I would rather just like not have either. Like, I would rather not have the fruit or the synthetic sugars. I love dessert. So like, I will definitely be having dessert, but then other than that, like, no, I'm not into it. Next one, Yeti cups are better than Stanleys. Okay, I have a Stanley, and I think I need to graduate my Stanley for a multitude of reasons. First off, the straw like broke a quarter of it broke off, and so now it's like not the length it should be, and it kind of creates a problem. Secondly, I've seen so many cups now. I forget what they're called. Are they called Slims? I don't know what they're called, but they're called something, and like they can roll around in your bag, or you can drop them or whatever, and the water doesn't come out. That's my biggest thing about Stanleys, is that the water will like fall out, or run out if it falls. And so this one doesn't. I have not had a Yeti, nor have I ever really drinking out of one, so I can't really attest to that, but I would say that there are better cups than Stanleys out there. I do think Stanleys are a little overhyped. Next one, marriage should not have to entail getting the government involved. Okay, I've never really thought about this. I would probably agree. I think you should have the option, I guess. Like, if you want to, sure. If you don't, then don't. I don't know. I guess I don't really know the exact history of why the government is involved in marriage to begin with. So I wouldn't be able to say like whether or not that's a good thing or what my opinion is on that. I've always, the idea of something being like legally binding in government and like so intense like that, it has always like stressed me out a little. Maybe that's a commitment issues in me, I don't know, but I do not have like as much understanding and knowledge around why I guess the government is so involved in marriage and why that's like a thing in the government, which is probably very naive of me to say and probably sounds really stupid, but I don't know, I guess. So I don't know whether or not that would be a good thing or not. I don't know if it's even possible how that would even work if you had the option or not. I don't know. I really don't know on that one. I can't give my opinion on that. Okay, next. Small wedding and big honeymoon is better than a big wedding. I think yes. For me personally, I would agree. I was about to say to each their own, but this is my thoughts exactly. So I'm going to give you my thoughts. I would agree. I think that a smaller wedding and a bigger honeymoon is what I would plan on doing. I have really no desire to have like a wedding personally. And I feel like that is an unpopular opinion in and of itself, because I don't know. I'm such a control freak. I'm so type A. The idea of everything. I always felt like a lot of times the weddings that I have been to and in attendance of and been in, a lot of it is a lot more stressful and it's kind of for the guests rather than for the people getting married. So I would rather have like a very intimate ceremony, like maybe a fun reception dinner, and then like go crazy for the honeymoon. That's what I would do. Next one, exes can be friends after they break up. Okay. I want to say yes, but in reality, I'm looking at my past history of dating. Like every time that I've maintained friends, quote unquote, with an ex has been like we've continued to hook up after we break up. So I don't think you can ever just be friends with an ex. At least in my experience, I can't be. So there's that. The school system is very flawed. It raises employees and not active dreamers. Okay. That is very interesting. I do agree with that, I think. I really do. I think that growing up in my day, but like, you know, growing up, you would ask kids what they wanted to be when they grew up. Doctor, astronaut, you know, marine biologist or dentist, or they had these like big career goals. And I just feel like now whenever I see kids talking or whatever, for the most part, especially when they're in school and stuff, it's easy to get blinded with this new age of social media to like have that be the only tunnel. Like that's the dream now. And like to each their own. If that's the dream, then that's fine. But I do think that there is something to be said about how dreams aren't as big as they once were for a lot of kids. So I do agree with that. I would. Okay, last one. Gender reveals are dumb. I think that whenever I have kids, I don't know. Oh, that's hard. I think like the big gender reveals, like when you see a plane flying over, like I think you're doing the most. I think you're doing too much. I think if you want to do something like cute for your family, like the way that I envision going about this whenever I have kids is like doing the thing where it's like you and your partner find out together and it's like that intimate moment, and then you find a cute way to tell everyone else. And I don't think it needs to be like a party. I don't think everyone needs to come over and like find out. But if that's like what you want to do, if that's like what really excites you and whatnot, then like do it. But I do agree that I think that a lot of times the ones that I've seen that like put the environment at risk, I think it's getting a little out of control. But I think that there's nothing wrong with like just a simple, cute little gender reveal thing. I think it's sweet. So that's what I would have to say about that. But with that being said, you guys, that is all for me today. Thank you guys so much for joining in to another episode of My Thoughts Exactly. Before we go, I was about to say happy Thursday and have a good week, but I do want to say Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and I love you, and I hope you have a very happy and safe holiday, and I hope that whatever it is that you're doing, you find some joy in it. But yeah, Merry Christmas, you guys. I'll be back next week with a brand new one, and I hope to see you there. Bye, guys.